Why did you stop here? Out of everything you could have listened to, out of all the noise competing for your attention, why are these words reaching you now? I am not asking to be dramatic. I am asking because timing matters. Before New Year 2026 arrives, something inside you has already started shifting. You may not fully understand it yet, but you feel it. A quiet pressure, a strange alertness, as if your soul is standing up after a long time of sitting down. Let me ask you a question that most people avoid. If nothing changes inside you, what will 2026 actually look like? Not what you hope, not what you post online, but what you know deep down will repeat if you continue exactly as you are. Sit with that, because the answer to that question is the reason you are listening right now. I am Michael, and I speak when cycles are about to end. You have been carrying more than you admit. Mentally, you feel tired even when your body rests. Emotionally, you feel distant even when surrounded by people. Spiritually, you feel alert, yet unsure why. You tried to explain it logically. You told yourself it was stress. You blamed age, responsibility, disappointment, time. But there was always something that didn't add up. Because deep down, you knew this exhaustion was not coming from effort, it was coming from resistance. Resistance to change you were delaying, resistance to truth you were avoiding, resistance to a version of you that refuses to stay small any longer. This is what happens before a shift. And New Year 2026 is not arriving quietly. Most people misunderstand what a new year really is. They think it is a reset. It is not. A new year is a mirror. It reflects back everything you refuse to resolve. That is why some people feel hopeful at midnight and empty again by January. Nothing outside changed. The inside stayed untouched. And the calendar cannot carry what the soul avoids. You already know this. That is why you don't feel excited the way you used to. You feel cautious. Because somewhere along the way, hope without direction stopped feeling safe. Let me speak plainly now. The end of a year is the most deceptive spiritual period. People believe danger passes when time moves forward, but the opposite is true. As years close, memory opens. As memory opens, emotion rises. As emotion rises, old patterns look familiar again. This is why people return to relationships they already outgrew. This is why self-doubt suddenly gets louder in December. This is why you start questioning progress that was never meant to be visible yet. It is not coincidence. It is gravity. The old version of you does not want to disappear quietly. And here is where many people lose momentum. They confuse familiarity with safety. They confuse silence with stagnation. They confuse discomfort with danger. But transformation does not announce itself gently. It disrupts first. It unsettles next, and only then does it stabilize. If your life feels unstable right now, that does not mean you are failing. It means you are between versions, and that is the most misunderstood place to stand. I need you to listen carefully to this part. Some of you are waiting for clarity before you commit to change. That is backwards. Clarity follows movement, not thought. You don't think your way into a new life, you move your way into it. And hesitation has been costing you more energy than action ever would. This is why you feel drained without doing much. Your energy is being spent on inner negotiation. Should I change? Should I wait? What if I'm wrong? What if I lose something? This constant questioning is what exhausts the soul. I am not here to frighten you, but I will not lie to you. 2026 will not tolerate indecision. The energy of what is coming will reward alignment and expose avoidance. What you ignore will not disappear. It will repeat louder. What you confront will not attack you. It will dissolve. This is the difference between pain that teaches and pain that repeats, and you get to choose which one enters your next year. Let me tell you something important about protection. Protection is not avoidance. Protection is clarity. When you are clear, what does not belong cannot stay. When you are clear, manipulation loses access. When you are clear, fear has no authority. This is why confusion is the real threat. Not enemies, not bad luck, not circumstances. Confusion. And confusion survives only where truth is postponed. You may have noticed this already. Certain conversations drain you more than before. Certain environments feel heavier than they used to. Certain compromises now feel unbearable. This is not sensitivity, this is refinement. Your tolerance for misalignment is decreasing, and that is a sign of growth most people misinterpret as weakness. But you are not becoming fragile. You are becoming precise. I want to address something directly. Some of you believe you are behind in life. That belief is false. You are not behind. You are early to your awareness. Many people will live entire lifetimes without questioning why they repeat cycles. You are questioning now. That alone changes everything. Progress is not measured by speed, it is measured by direction. And your direction has already shifted, even if your circumstances haven't caught up yet. As New Year 2026 approaches, there will be moments when you feel tempted to doubt this shift. You may hear an inner voice saying, "Nothing is changed." That voice is not intuition. It is fear negotiating for relevance. Fear always speaks right before it loses influence. Do not argue with it. Do not try to defeat it. Simply do not obey it. Fear starves when it is ignored. Now listen to this part carefully. Not everyone is meant to go with you into 2026. Some people are assigned to chapters, not futures. Holding on to them out of loyalty will cost you clarity. And clarity is the currency of the next phase. This does not mean you must cut people off dramatically. It means you must stop carrying what you are never meant to manage. Detachment is not cruelty. It is self-respect. You may feel guilt rising as you hear this. That is normal. Guilt appears when growth threatens old identities. But guilt is not a signal to stop. It is a signal to redefine who you are allowed to be. You are allowed to outgrow versions of yourself that once kept you safe. You are allowed to want more peace, even if others prefer chaos. You are allowed to choose differently without explaining endlessly. Right now, something subtle is happening. As these words move through you, your nervous system is adjusting. Your body recognizes truth before your mind organizes it. That is why this feels calm and unsettling at the same time. That is alignment beginning. Do not rush it. Do not label it. Just let it work. I want you to remember this as the year closes. You do not need to become someone else in 2026. You need to stop betraying who you already are. That betrayal is what has been draining you. Saying yes when your body says no. Staying silent when your truth wants to speak. Delaying decisions you already understand. This ends now. Not with force, with honesty. In the next part of this message, I will speak about the hidden fear most people carry into a new year, the one mistake that quietly collapses momentum, and the internal shift that determines whether 2026 becomes a turning point or just another chapter of repetition. Do not rush ahead mentally.
Stay present. What comes next builds on what is already settling inside you. I am Michael, and this preparation has only begun.
There is a fear most people carry into a new year, but they rarely name it. It is not the fear of failure. It is the fear that even after trying again, nothing will change. That fear lives quietly. It does not scream. It whispers. It says, "What if I do the work and still feel empty? What if I let go and regret it? What if I choose wrong?" This fear is subtle, and because it is subtle, it is powerful. It keeps people busy but stagnant, hopeful but hesitant, moving but not advancing. If you are honest with yourself, you have felt this fear. Not constantly, but in moments of silence, especially as 2026 approaches. Let me tell you something important. Fear does not mean stop. Fear means there is something valuable on the other side. Fear only guards doors that matter. If there were nothing ahead of you, there would be no resistance. And yet, resistance has been consistent, not random, consistent. That alone tells you you are not imagining this shift. Many of you believe you need more confidence. You don't. You need clarity. Confidence without clarity creates arrogance. Clarity without confidence creates hesitation. But clarity with movement creates alignment. And alignment does not need motivation. It generates its own energy. This is why some people seem calm during chaos. They are not stronger. They are clearer. As this year ends, you may notice impatience rising inside you. You want answers faster. You want direction sooner. You want relief now. Be careful with this impulse. Impatience is not urgency. Impatience is restlessness. Urgency knows where it's going. Impatience just wants discomfort to stop. Do not let impatience choose for you what clarity hasn't confirmed. Here is a truth that may unsettle you. Some of your discomfort is necessary. Not all tension is meant to be resolved immediately. Some tension is what pulls you out of old patterns. If everything felt comfortable right now, you would never leave, and staying would cost you more than temporary discomfort ever could. This is why growth often feels inconvenient. It interrupts routines, it challenges identities, it demands honesty. Comfort rarely does that. Let me speak directly to your inner conflict. Part of you wants change. Another part wants certainty. You cannot have both at the same time. Certainty belongs to the past. Change belongs to the future. The moment you choose change, certainty dissolves. This is where most people retreat, not because they lack courage, but because they misinterpret uncertainty as danger. Uncertainty is not danger. It is openness. It is space. And space is required for anything new to enter. You have been taught to fear the unknown. But the unknown is not empty. It is unclaimed. An unclaimed territory is where new identities are built. If 2026 feels undefined to you right now, that is not a problem. That is an invitation. I want to address something else honestly. Some of you are exhausted, not because you were doing too much, but because you were doing what no longer fits. Misalignment drains faster than effort. You can work all day on something aligned and feel energized. You can spend 1 hour in misalignment and feel depleted. This is why rest hasn't been fixing your fatigue. Rest does not correct direction. Clarity does. Pay attention to what drains you lately. not what challenges you, what drains you. There is a difference. Challenge strengthens. Drain weakens. Challenge expands capacity. Drain erodes it. In 2026, you will no longer be able to ignore this difference. Your body will insist. Your mind will resist. But your inner system will demand congruence. Some of you feel guilty for wanting a different life. You wonder if you are being ungrateful. Let me be clear. Gratitude does not require stagnation. You can honor where you have been without staying there. You can appreciate lessons without repeating them. Growth is not betrayal. Staying stuck out of guilt is. As this year closes, you may notice old memories resurfacing. Moments you thought were resolved, decisions you second-guessed, paths you didn't take. This is not regret returning. This is review. The psyche reviews chapters before closing them. Do not romanticize the past. Do not condemn it either. Simply acknowledge it and let it complete. Completion is power. Now listen closely. The greatest mistake people make before a new year is trying to carry everything forward. They think strength means endurance. It doesn't. Strength means discernment, knowing what to carry and what to lay down. If you carry too much, you arrive exhausted. If you carry the wrong things, you arrive misaligned. This is why preparation matters more than intention. Let me ask you something important. What are you still holding that no longer gives anything back? Not physically, internally. An expectation, a role, an image of yourself that requires constant effort to maintain. Ask yourself this honestly, because whatever that is, it will demand more from you in 2026. And it will not become easier to sustain. Some of you are afraid that if you let go, you will lose control. That belief is backwards. Control is what you cling to when you don't trust yourself. Letting go is not chaos. It is trust in your ability to adapt. And adaptation is the real power. Those who adapt do not fear change. They shape it. You are entering a phase where surface-level thinking will no longer satisfy you. Quick fixes will feel empty. Distractions will lose their appeal. Noise will irritate you. This is not because you are becoming difficult. It is because your nervous system is recalibrating to depth. Depth requires fewer things, but demands more honesty. This is why simplicity will become essential in 2026. Not minimalism as a trend, but clarity as a lifestyle. I want to talk about something subtle. Many of you believe that once clarity comes, fear will disappear. It won't. Fear does not vanish with clarity. It changes roles. Instead of stopping you, it tests you. Fear asks, do you trust what you know? Will you act without guarantees? Will you choose alignment even if approval disappears? This is not punishment. This is initiation. You are not meant to eliminate fear. You are meant to outgrow its authority. Fear can speak, but it does not get to decide. That is maturity. That is leadership of the self. And leadership is what 2026 will require from you. Let me say something that may surprise you. You do not need to become more disciplined. You need to become more honest. Discipline without honesty becomes punishment. Honesty naturally creates discipline. When you are honest about what drains you, you stop returning to it. When you are honest about what matters, you protect it. No force required. You may notice that certain goals no longer excite you the way they once did. This does not mean you are losing ambition. It means your values are shifting.
Chasing what once impressed you will not satisfy who you were becoming. This can feel confusing. Do not panic. It is not loss of direction. It is refinement of desire. As New Year 2026 approaches, there will be moments when silence feels loud, moments when distraction no longer works, moments when you feel alone, even in familiar company. These moments are not emptiness. They are space opening. Space where new priorities will land. Do not rush to fill this space. Let it shape itself. You have been taught to fear stillness, but stillness is where truth consolidates. Movement reveals patterns. Stillness reveals meaning. Both are necessary. But you have had enough movement. Now, meaning must catch up. Some of you will feel an urge to make drastic decisions quickly. Be cautious. Alignment is not impulsive. It is intentional. You do not need to burn bridges. You need to stop crossing them out of habit. There is a difference. Quiet boundaries are powerful. They do not announce themselves. They simply hold. I want you to remember this. Not everything that feels heavy is meant to be carried forward. Some things feel heavy because they are meant to be put down. Distinguish between responsibility and burden. Responsibility strengthens identity. Burden erodes it. In 2026, you will be asked to tell the difference. Right now, as you listen, you may feel a sense of seriousness settling in. Not fear, seriousness. That is not heaviness. That is readiness. Playfulness belongs to comfort. Seriousness belongs to transition. Both have their place. You are in transition. In the next part of this message, I will speak about the relationships that cannot come with you, the internal boundary that must be established before the year turns, and the moment in 2026 when you will realize something fundamental has changed. Do not rush ahead. Let what has already been said find its place inside you. This is not information. This is preparation. And preparation cannot be hurried.
There comes a moment in every transition when clarity begins to cost you something. Until that moment, awareness feels gentle. It feels like insight. It feels like understanding. But then, clarity asks for action. And action always reveals what and who cannot come with you. This is where many people hesitate, not because they don't know what to do, but because they already know what they would have to let go of. Some relationships will not survive your alignment, not because anyone is wrong, not because anyone is evil, but because growth changes the rules of connection. When you change internally, agreements made with your old self expire. This is uncomfortable to accept because humans are taught that loyalty means endurance, but loyalty without honesty turns into self-abandonment, and self-abandonment is no longer an option for you. You may already feel this. Conversations that once flowed now feel forced. People who once felt close now feel distant, even when present. You might wonder if you are becoming cold. You are not. You are becoming accurate. Accuracy can feel cold to those who benefited from your confusion. Let me be very clear. You do not owe access to anyone who disrespects your clarity. You do not owe explanations to people who invalidate your experience. And you do not owe your future to anyone who only knows your past. This is not arrogance. This is boundary. And boundary is an act of love for your life. As 2026 approaches, you will feel an internal line forming. On one side of that line is who you used to be. On the other side is who you are becoming. Standing on the line is uncomfortable because it means you belong fully to neither. This is the in-between. And the in-between is where most people turn back, not because they are weak, but because they mistake familiarity for safety. Safety does not come from familiarity, it comes from alignment. Familiarity can still hurt you. Alignment rarely does. It may challenge you, it may stretch you, but it will not drain you the way misalignment does. This is how you know the difference. You may notice something else happening. Your tolerance for dishonesty, especially your own, is decreasing. You can no longer pretend you don't know what you know. You can no longer ignore patterns you clearly see. This is not pressure. This is integrity activating. Integrity is not moral perfection. It is internal consistency. When your thoughts, words, and actions begin to align, tension decreases, even if circumstances remain uncertain. Some of you are afraid that choosing alignment will make life harder. At first, it might, not because alignment creates obstacles, but because it removes buffers. You can no longer hide behind excuses. You can no longer blame confusion. You see clearly, and clarity demands responsibility. But responsibility is not weight, it is authority. Let me speak about authority for a moment. Authority does not mean control over others, it means self-trust. When you trust yourself, you don't need constant reassurance. You don't need approval to move. You don't need permission to choose peace. This kind of authority is quiet. It doesn't announce itself. It simply acts. In 2026, noise will increase. Opinions will multiply. Distractions will intensify. External voices will compete for your attention. Those without self-trust will feel overwhelmed. Those with self-trust will feel selective. You are being prepared to become selective, not closed, selective. There is a difference. You may find yourself wanting fewer conversations, but deeper ones. Fewer commitments, but more meaningful ones. Less stimulation, but more presence. This is not withdrawal. It is refinement. Refinement often looks like isolation to those who don't understand it, but it is actually focus returning. I want to talk about the internal boundary you must establish before the year turns. This boundary is not external. It is not about saying no to others. It is about saying no to your own patterns of self-betrayal. Saying no when you mean yes is lying, but saying yes when you mean no is abandonment. You have practiced the second one far too often. This ends now. You may worry that enforcing this boundary will create conflict. It might, but unresolved self-conflict is far more damaging than external disagreement. Peace with others built on inner resentment will collapse. Peace built on honesty may feel uncomfortable at first, but it lasts. Let me say something that needs to be said. You are not responsible for how others respond to your truth. You are responsible for not abandoning it. Reaction belongs to them. Alignment belongs to you. This distinction will save you years of unnecessary struggle. As this shift deepens, you may experience moments of grief, not because something terrible happened, but because something is truly ending. Grief does not only follow loss, it follows transition. You are grieving versions of yourself that carried you through certain phases. Honor them, but do not cling to them. They did their work. There is a moment coming in 2026 when you will realize something fundamental has changed. Not dramatically, quietly. You will notice that you respond differently. You pause instead of reacting. You choose silence instead of justification. You walk away instead of proving your point. And in that moment, you will understand. You didn't become passive. You became sovereign. Sovereignty is not dominance, it is inner permission.
permission to choose peace without apology, permission to change your mind when truth changes, permission to leave situations that demand you shrink. This is maturity, and maturity is what this next phase requires. Some of you are worried that if you stop chasing, nothing will come to you. That belief comes from scarcity. Alignment does not chase, it attracts. Not people who want to take, but opportunities that fit. Chasing creates exhaustion. Alignment creates resonance. In 2026, resonance will matter more than effort. You have spent enough time proving your worth, proving your capability, proving your intentions. That era is ending. You no longer need to convince environments that cannot recognize you. You need to place yourself where recognition is natural. This requires courage, but courage is already present. It just hasn't been trusted yet. Let me remind you of something important. You are not late. You are precise. Timing is not about speed. It is about readiness, and readiness is internal. Many people arrive early to places they cannot sustain. You are arriving when you can hold what comes next. That is wisdom. As the year closes, you may feel moments of doubt. Doubt does not mean you are wrong. It means your identity is rearranging. Old labels fall away, new ones haven't settled yet. This is uncomfortable, but it is temporary. Do not rush to define yourself. Let experience do that for you. You are stepping into a phase where alignment will demand consistency, not intensity. Small, honest actions repeated daily will matter more than dramatic promises. You do not need to transform overnight. You need to stop contradicting yourself. That alone will change everything. In the final part of this message, I will speak about the protection surrounding you, the moment fear loses its authority, and the declaration that seals your entry into 2026 with clarity and strength. Stay present. You are not being rushed. You are being guided.
There's a moment when preparation turns into protection. Not because danger increases, but because clarity settles. You are entering that moment now. Protection does not arrive loudly, it arrives quietly, as certainty. Certainty that you do not need to rush, certainty that you do not need to prove, certainty that what belongs will recognize you without pursuit. This certainty is not confidence, it is alignment becoming stable. Many people misunderstand protection. They think protection means nothing bad will happen. That is not true. Protection means nothing unnecessary will stay. Pain may still appear, but it will not linger. Challenges may still arise, but they will not confuse you. Loss may still occur, but it will not define you. Protection is not the absence of difficulty, it is the presence of direction. As 2026 begins, you will notice fear changing its tone. It will no longer shout, it will question. It will ask if you are sure, if you are ready, if this is wise. This is not fear trying to stop you. This is fear realizing it no longer controls you. Fear always negotiates before it releases authority. Do not argue with it. Continue. You may find yourself doing something unfamiliar, choosing rest without guilt, choosing silence without explanation, choosing yourself without apology. This may feel strange at first because you are conditioned to believe that self-prioritization equals selfishness. It does not. Self-prioritization equals sustainability, and sustainability is what allows growth to continue without collapse. Let me speak about momentum. Momentum is not created by force, it is created by consistency. In 2026, small, aligned choices will compound faster than dramatic gestures.
You do not need to overhaul your life. You need to stop undermining it. This means honoring your energy, protecting your focus, reducing internal contradiction. Momentum follows coherence. You will also notice that clarity sharpens discernment. You will see situations sooner. You will recognize patterns earlier. You will feel misalignment faster. This is not hypervigilance, it is attunement. Attunement allows you to respond before damage accumulates. You are not becoming guarded, you are becoming aware. There is something important you must understand about endings. Endings do not always look like closure. Sometimes they look like indifference, the absence of emotional charge, the disappearance of urgency, the quiet knowing that something no longer matters. When this happens, do not force meaning. Completion does not need ceremony, it needs recognition. As the new year unfolds, you may be surprised by how little you react to things that once consumed you. You may notice that arguments lose appeal, drama feels exhausting, validation feels unnecessary. This is not numbness, this is freedom. Freedom does not excite constantly, it stabilizes. Let me tell you something reassuring. You are not missing out. What is meant for you does not require frantic pursuit. It does not require self-betrayal. It does not require shrinking. What is meant for you meets you where alignment exists, and alignment is where you are heading. There will be moments in 2026 when others misunderstand your calm. They may interpret it as distance. They may call it arrogance. They may question your priorities. Let them. Their interpretation does not define your intention. Peace often looks suspicious to those addicted to chaos. Do not internalize their confusion. You will also encounter moments where old habits attempt to resurface, not because you are regressing, but because habits test permanence. They want to know if the door is truly closed. Do not fight them, simply do not open the door. Habits fade when they are ignored. I want you to remember this as you move forward. You are allowed to change your mind when new information arrives. Consistency does not mean rigidity, it means integrity. Integrity allows adaptation without self-betrayal. This flexibility will protect you from extremes. In this next year, your intuition will become more practical, less dramatic, more grounded. You will feel simple yeses and nos. Trust them. Overthinking is not intelligence, it is fear trying to regain influence. Clarity speaks simply. You may find that your circle becomes smaller, not because people leave, but because access becomes intentional. Depth replaces quantity. Quality replaces noise. This will feel right. Connection improves when it is chosen consciously. There is a subtle shift that marks true preparation. You stop asking, "What if this goes wrong?" and begin asking, "What if this goes right?" This shift is not optimism, it is permission. Permission to imagine outcomes that are not built on defense. Defense has kept you safe. Permission will allow you to grow. As you step fully into 2026, you may experience moments of gratitude that feel quiet and deep. Not excitement, not relief, gratitude without urgency. This is the gratitude of alignment. It does not beg, it does not cling, it appreciates. Now listen carefully to this next part. There will be a moment in 2026 when fear attempts one final approach. It will remind you of past failures. It will highlight uncertainty. It will suggest retreat. This is the moment your response matters. Not what you say, what you do. Do not analyze. Act from alignment. This moment will mark the end of fear's authority. After that moment, life will not become perfect, but it will become clearer. And clarity changes everything. With clarity, effort becomes efficient. With clarity, decisions simplify. With clarity, energy returns. This is what you have been preparing for.
You may wonder why this preparation took so long, why it required discomfort, why it demanded patience, because what you are stepping into requires stability. Quick growth collapses. Sustained growth lasts. You were being stabilized, even when it felt like delay. I want to address one final concern. Some of you worry that if you fully step into alignment, you will disappoint others. You might, but disappointment is not destruction. Disappointment reveals expectation, and expectations that require your self-betrayal were never sustainable. You are not responsible for maintaining illusions. You are responsible for maintaining integrity. Now it is time to seal this transition, not with emotion, with clarity. Say this internally: I step into 2026 grounded, aware, and protected. I carry forward what aligns. I release what does not. I trust my discernment. I choose coherence over chaos. Let these words settle. They are not affirmation. They are agreement. You are not alone in this transition. Support does not always appear as people. Sometimes it appears as timing, as intuition, as restraint. Trust the form it takes. Support adapts to what you need. As you move forward, remember that growth is rarely loud. It is consistent, it is honest, it is patient, and it is already underway. If you have stayed until this point, you did not do so accidentally. Attention follows resonance. Resonance follows alignment. You recognized something here because it already exists within you. This recognition is the real beginning. Carry this forward, not as memory, as practice. Let your actions reflect what you now understand. Let simplicity guide you. Let honesty stabilize you. Let discernment protect you. Before you leave this message, make one quiet commitment to yourself, not to change everything, but to stop contradicting what you know. That alone will transform your year. You are prepared, you are protected, you are aligned, and 2026 will meet you differently because of it.